Morning, everybody. I hope you're all having a very good morning here on the Saturday of March. The last Saturday of March. We're going to be hitting April here coming up this week. I hope you all are staying safe and just being able to continue to stay positive and uplifted. And I want to start today off with what we've been doing the last few days and what we're going to continue to do of walking through the book of James and just taking section by section and just discussing how can we apply this to our lives. And I think James does it, like I said yesterday, James does a good job of touching issues that we all, and topics that we all can relate to. So we're going to jump right in. Today we're going to start in, like I said, we left off at verse 18 yesterday in chapter 1 of James, and today we're going to start verse 19, and we are going to go through to the end of the first chapter. So here we go. My dear brothers, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, for man's anger does not bring about the righteousness life that God desires. Therefore, get rid of all foul filth, and the evil that is so prevalent, and humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like a man who looks at his face in a mirror and after looking at himself goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But the man who looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues to do this, not forgetting what he has heard, but doing it, he will be blessed in what he does. If anyone considers himself religious and yet does not keep a tight rein on his tongue, he deceives himself, and his religion is worthless. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faithfulness is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being pulled by the world. Okay, so we're gonna kind of break this up into two different parts. The first part, as we can see through verse 19 through 19 through 23. It talks about us having to, he's telling us that we need to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. A lot of times we try to speak our minds and speak what we think and about situations or problems going on in our world life and stuff, rather than listening to the problem and listening to those that we're talking to before we speak. Because a lot of times when we speak, we do more damage than we do if we listen. So we need to listen to what is going on, and then we can speak in a more righteous and more better way. And it says that also, it says to remove the filth and the things that does not bring righteousness of God. But I will say this: from time to time, people will say, well, as Christians, I always hear people, cussing or this and that. What is that? Well, for that, I would say this. A friend of mine many years ago said that, all cuss words, all swear words that we all have said, if you're saying that you've not said anything, well, you're a liar. Anyway, that those are just words that we have made up all throughout history to mean something that they don't really mean, and people are taken away out of context, and now it's just words that people use when they're angry and frustrated. I think the biggest thing here is just understanding that the two words, like saying like Jesus Christ or saying God with a derogative after that is probably what this is talking more to, is not using the Lord's name in vain, more so than just using words. Because I believe, and some people will disagree with me, that you shouldn't say any cuss words, but I think that they're just words, so say whatever you want. But don't, there's a time and a place for it. That's what I'll say. And as we look at the second part of this section is, it talks about how a lot of people are religious. If let's see, if we consider ourselves religious, but then we don't do what God's word is telling us, then we are basically jeopardizing and disobeying what God's word says. And, we're called as believers, we're called as people to help those that are less fortunate to us and help those that are dealing with, circumstances and situations that we're not dealing with. We need to reach out a hand to the widows. We need to reach out our hands to the orphans and to those that are being put aside. And we need to reach out to the babies and the mothers that don't know what option to do with their child when they're born, of when they're carrying their baby. Do they abort the baby, or what are their other options? The other option is adoption. I'd rather see adoption than I would see abortion. So let's widows, a lot of widows are just home alone by themselves and they don't have anybody to hang out with. Let's reach out to them and help them, and let's just reach out to our neighbors and help our neighbors to also be able to get what they need, and let's all work together. So that's that section, folks. I hope you all were encouraged by that. Tomorrow we're going to jump into James chapter 2, talking about favoritism, which is a big one, that I'll have some insight into that tomorrow. So God bless. Love you guys.